Hey, so this is Principal Bob, and I am here with Brother Pat, and we are here for another podcast. And it's been busy the last few days. Uh, as Brother Pat knows, the new 25s came in. Uh, we got three to four videos out. I got to meet the Ioniq guy. He came to Colorado to buy a car. And so I spent some time with him, and that'll be a video in the near future. But the 25s are really pretty, and they got a lot of good stuff that you're going to enjoy. And some of us really didn't have an idea of how much the changes were going to take place because we never got to look at the software. We never got to really see what they did. Well, it's amazing, and it's a much improved car. And I can't wait for Brother Pat to come out to Colorado and play with one. Hey, are those available where you are right now, Pat?
Nope, I think as you mentioned before, I think Hyundai pretty much sends them primarily to the dealerships that have had a lot of sales. And let's face it, your dealership, Crossroads Hyundai, has sold hundreds of them. So
Yeah,
obviously, when the first ones are coming out, you are getting that batch. But hopefully, Corbin, the Ionic guy, is on his way, enjoying his new Ionic 5 Limited 2025 in what color?
teal.
Oh, doesn't really matter what. I guess that's right because we'll put the links down to the Ionic guys web channel down there, and you'll be able to probably see that beautiful car in its full glory very soon.
I actually took a parting video of him leaving my house in his car. So, hey, we'll put that on top of this video so people are seeing it right now of what his car looks like. And it's so much fun working with a car company that updates their cars continually. The Koreans don't like to be bored. They absolutely update everything as fast as they can. And a number of people have done reviews of the Ionic 5 and it's the 25 version. And I it's going to kind of get me on a roll here just a bit with Pat, but we're going to talk a little bit about what kind of car the Ioniq 5 is versus a Tesla, and how an Ioniq 5 and a Tesla are different. And that doesn't necessarily mean one car is better than the other. Pat is always reminding me of that we're about talking about what works best for you. And so I'm gonna Pat's owned a Model 3. I've owned a Model 3. I've spent tons of time in a Model Y. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that now. And particularly Brother Pat's perspective, because we talk every morning. We're on the phone at 6:30 a.m. And we had a discussion today, and I said that's the podcast today. So Pat, let me know what you really what do you think of the average person buying and who it fits? Who does this car work for, the Ioniq, and particularly from your own experience?
Well, I think that the Ionic 5 is really for a variety of people, but there are a lot of people out there who, compared to the Tesla, and trust me, I'm very familiar with Teslas. I bought one in January 22. I put 20,000 miles on that car, and in many ways, I really like that car. But there are a lot of people who particularly are into fit and finish and quiet ride, and largely they're not focused on software that the Ionic 5 really works well in, right? I mean, again, there's something about the Korean cars, Japanese cars, German cars, many of them, particularly of late, have a lot of quality. I'm just finishing rolling 50,000 miles on an ID4. Probably well documented worst software that was ever put in a car. But 50,000 miles, that car does not rattle, doesn't make any noise. And again, yeah, you look at the quality of the Ionic 5, just close those doors, check the door handles. do all those kinds of things, and you're going to see that it's a quality car. Um, what do I like about the Tesla? Well, there are a lot of people, and I think we could talk a lot about younger generations are going to say that that love the software of that car, and I get it, right? If you are really into road tripping and you're very concerned about what state of charge your battery is going to be at when you arrive and those kinds of things, you like all the integration of the software on one screen, all that is to your liking, yeah, go for it. Tesla's a wonderful car, and I'll be honest, I haven't driven the latest and greatest renditions of it, but Bob and I are going to solve that problem. We're going to take one out pretty soon, especially I think when the Juniper Y drops. Well, we're definitely looking forward to trying that car. But
Yeah.
tell me, Bob, what do people say when they come to your dealership sometime? In other words, they're looking at the Hyundai. Why aren't they looking at the Tesla?
Well, and the thing about it is, I don't sell cars, but I talk to people about what's going to meet their needs. And I tell people flat out, if you want software updates every other day, if you want spectacular software, if you want 0 to 60 times that are quicker than anybody else for the money, you buy a Tesla. But a
And if you
lot of
want that network, and if you want that whole Tesla
yeah.
charging network,
Oh,
more than what's opened up to Hyundai now, but when if you want to be able to access those 150 chargers, all that, I get it. I understand, and I respect that
would-
choice.
and I would add that a lot of customers don't like Teslas. They've been in them. They often go to Tesla first because when people think of electric cars and they're new, they go to Tesla. You try it out. And the common complaints that a lot of people who don't want to own one is they don't like the seats, they don't like the foamy seats, they don't like the one screen. They don't like the 10-point font that old people like me can't read. They don't like the fact that there are no stocks on the car right now. They think the interior doesn't look very expensive or very good. It's got a kind of a plasticky feel. I wish they would never have taken that cool wood strip out because that was the coolest feature of the interior of the car, and they took it out and put this white chunk of plastic there. But anyway, that's why they come. And then, to be honest, and we don't get into politics, and I don't want to get into politics. And let's face it, Tesla has the best charging network in the world, and it's reliable and all that other good stuff. But a lot of people won't buy a Tesla because of Mr. Musk. And you can agree or disagree with those people or think that's a dumb reason not to buy a car. But there are people who said they will not spend one dime uh, for Elon Musk. And I even have a couple of people that watch my channel that have said they will never spend a dime on any Tesla product, including the energy. So that's the other problem. But the thing is that a lot of older adults look at the Tesla as a very radical product to this day. I mean, it's been around for ages, but it's a radical product. It's very different than what they're used to. And those people, to be honest, they're going to go look at an Audi, they're going to go look at a BMW, they're going to look at a Mini Cooper, they're going to look at a Kia, they're going to look at a lot of other cars because Tesla doesn't float their boat and doesn't meet their needs. Uh,
People get hung up even on the on the screen above the steering wheel. They want that. Even though, yes, Tesla provides everything you need on that middle screen, they still want that information in the center screen. And again, hey, I my favorite ice cream in the world is vanilla, right? And there are a lot of people who are going to say, wait, ice cream can't be ice cream without chocolate. I'm not going to have that debate. It's really
right,
a matter of taste and preference, right?
right.
Some people like shrimp, some people like lobster. I happen to like both shrimp and lobster. But
Yeah.
anyway, go
Yeah,
ahead,
and I
Rob.
and I agree with you that, particularly the Model Y and Model 3 with the one screen, it's hard to argue that's the best system when Tesla on their more expensive cars, including these Cybertruck, They have two screens like everybody else does. Only on their less expensive cars do they
That's true.
uh, put one screen in. And so those are the things that drive a lot of people crazy. And so, when people review things, when people look at things, they really need, I mean, I get why Tesla works for a lot of people. I think it's an outstanding car for the reasons I've already expressed here. Not to mention it's really efficient. It's one of the most efficient cars you can buy, except for the Cyber Beast, but it's really efficient. But when you review something, when I review something, when Pat reviews something, we try to be objective as we can be. We all have rose-colored glasses and we all have our strong preferences. But I think a good review tries to be objective as possible, and not let their own opinion taint their review so much that they lose sight of the fact that, hey, this car works for a lot of other people, and I can see why. And so that's what we try to do. That's what Brother Pat and I try to do, is we try to look at that because we're both history teachers. We're both people who were trained in history. And as an historian, that's what you do when you write history. Now, you never get rid of all your biases. No, nobody can. I mean, some people grew up with Teslas. They've only owned Teslas. They drive every other car with a Tesla perspective. You know, but people need to kind of try to be more objective in their reviews because I think they miss the boat. They lose some credibility when you don't grant the good stuff that the other car has that will work for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's not to say that we won't ever say what you and I prefer,
Oh
but
yeah.
our lens is what are people going to see this as? How is it going to benefit them? Who are the people who really like this? What is it that's attracting them to this choice? And again, it's we made the joke before we started this, traditionally, I mean, cars can be, a little sacrilege here, a little bit like religion, right? We get our faith in what we believe in, and it goes, I mean, you don't have to look any further back than Chevy or Ford pickups, which is better. I mean, it's religion to the point where you put the bumper sticker on the back, back of the car. On the first day, God created Ford
or
F-150,
or or some incorrigible young man urinating on the
Yeah, yeah,
opposition's car.
yeah,
You know, that
yeah.
that's a winner. You see that frequently,
I
but
haven't seen it on any EVs yet, though. You gotta
no,
admit that, right?
no.
I
But
haven't seen any Ioniq 5s with that kind of logo
right,
signature on it.
the most polarizing EV that I think that's come out ever is the Cybertruck. And I did a review of that, and I looked at the Ford Lightning and I looked at the Cybertruck. And I see Cybertrucks actually at my dealerships that I work for. And people's reaction to that car is they love it or they hate it. And I mean, I cannot tell you how polarizing that car is. And, I drove it. It's got some great features. I love the steering in that car by wire. I love the back pickup area. It's huge. It's got way more space than my Ford. You know, it's got a lot of features. It's got Tesla software. I mean, that's a plus right there, right? But there are a lot of people who will never understand why anybody would buy a Cybertruck. That's just the way they are. But I do. I understand why some people like that. They've watched a lot of Mad Max, and they want to be in that movie, and they found their vehicle.
Now that we've looked at that, and now we're going to look at that lens through the 2025 Hyundai, right? I mean, originally when that car was coming out, Bob, I looked at that lens through my vision of VW experience. And what I mean by that is that uh, our 2021 ID4 was built in Germany, and the quality was really good. And honestly, I didn't really have any significant problems. Although, to be honest, I had one cell replaced in the battery. But honestly, for the most part, I haven't had to take it in for things. And I know that when they built a brand new factory and they had a brand new workforce when the 23s came out, there were some initial problems. And really, when so far, and I've got my fingers crossed here, but so far, looking at the 25s, the quality seems great. It seems like they are coming out with a very good product right off the bat.
I'm impressed. It really is. And I've been in five different 25s. I have put well over six or 700 miles on these cars. And what I like is it's quieter and there isn't a rattle in the thing. They've done a good job of putting that body together where I don't hear pieces, parts banging around when I drive that car. And, you got to think about how impressive that is, right? Brand new plant, 1,500 employees, all new suppliers putting things into that car. It's really, really impressive what they've done. Now, I'll be honest, in the future, if problems start to come up, my viewers will be the first to know. But it's a really good car, and it seems to work for a lot of people. And I just want to take a minute here to thank my brother Pat, my chief researcher, my chief guy that reads every article and watches every video that comes out on electric car. Because you know what? In a lot of ways, he is more of a fan than I am, and that takes some doing. So I appreciate him coming on the channel. I appreciate all the work he's doing. He is going to start to do some more videos. He's going to start to produce some. And that's one thing. If you want a good teaching product, if you want something to come out, ask a former teacher to do it. And that's what Pat is. He's a former teacher and principal and assistant superintendent. And that's going to be happening shortly. So I'm in advance. I'm thanking Pat for the work he's going to do and all the work that he's done. So, any closing thoughts, Brother Pat?
Nope, we just really appreciate Mr. Corbin coming out and visiting you from, Mr. Ionic guy himself, and I'm glad that session really went well and that you work well together, and I can't wait to see the video on that.
Yep, and that'll be happening soon. So once again, thanks for watching the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're just kind of new to the podcasting business, and we want to grow this. And we really appreciate you watching and your intelligent comments. So we'll see you next Friday.
Stay warm.
You need to stay warm. It's going to be darn cold in Colorado.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.